Hello, my name is Alesha, and if this is your first time visiting my channel, welcome. This is part 2 of why I don't want to be famous. I got me my Disney shirt this time. Fun fact, I've had that shirt for over 20 years. So I was in my closet and I saw it and I said, yeah, I gotta wear it. Been wearing it for a couple of days. Not like in a row, but you know what I mean. So let's get right into it. Where I left off. How's everybody going? Let me scroll back to my notes. Oh yeah, let me just go ahead and start right here. People literally read magazines and then they believe everything that they see on television, and sometimes it just could be a rumor, it just could be for ratings. They like to dip in famous people's lives and they don't tend to their business, but they want to dip in somebody else's life. And I wouldn't want to be famous for that reason. You know, why are you so interested in what I'm doing? Because I did a movie that you liked. I mean, it's great that you liked my movie, but why do you want to dip in my personal life? But see, as a famous person, you have to watch what you do, watch what you say sometimes, because everything you do can be subject to criticism. And if you're not used to handling criticism, being in the industry might not be such a good idea, because people like to just nitpick. You know, like I said in the last video, sometimes here's an easy target because this is a famous person. It's sad, but people sometimes can be people and they see you as an easy target because you have a famous name. And sometimes people just want to have higher ratings for their shows or sell out a book or sell a magazine. And again, like I said in the last video, mom shame is at an all-time high. So if you have kids and you're a famous person, you do something wrong, yeah, you should take care of it. Or they think, let me take that back. They think that you're doing something wrong, or you might have a different parenting style, or they don't, or you do something that they don't agree with. Somehow they become the authority, and you're doing this wrong, you're doing that wrong, you're carrying your kid wrong. Mom shame is crazy. You know, raise your kids the way you want to raise them, and they'll raise their kids the way they want to raise them. Like I said in the last video, stalking. Um, People do try to figure out where you live, and even with me not being famous, I'm starting to get in the habit of not telling people where I live. Like even people that know me, it's gonna be a long time before y'all get an address, because sometimes people that you're starting to know, they might not end up being a close friend. They might be somebody that you party with, somebody that you hang out with, but they might not be somebody that comes over to your house. So I'm sometimes really slow to let people in on where exactly I live, or where my house is, or where my apartment is in New York, because you just gotta be careful and really get to know your people before you let them in your life. Um, Sometimes, as a famous person, when you make mistakes, they hold you to a higher standard or put you on a pedestal that they normally wouldn't put themselves on. Cancel culture is a thing, and I understand like holding people accountable, making people apologize, because I'm just gonna be honest. There's people who have wronged me in my past, and I don't trust them. And like I said, I wish them well, and I'm not gonna necessarily punish them all over again for it. But when somebody is sorry, when somebody makes amends, when somebody makes changes, when somebody asks questions, hey, what can I do to make sure that this doesn't happen again? Those are the people that we should be giving multiple chances to. Don't come down hard on somebody when they're sorry, and when they make amends. Like I just said, there are some people that I know who will never apologize to me. And for people who are willing to apologize, that's great. That says something about them. But when you're a famous person, when you make mistakes, you sometimes don't get third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh chance, and we need to because we're all human. I mean, I make a lot of stupid mistakes all the time, and I'll be the first to admit that. And then sometimes when you make one mistake, just one, sometimes it can be hard to come back from, and it shouldn't be the case. I should be free to make mistakes and be able to bounce back, but sometimes you only get one chance in some instances, and you make that mistake, they ready to throw you out or throw you out the A-list club and talking about you can't do this right, you can't do that right. Sometimes that's not a good thing. So I hope that if I ever were to be a famous person, ever become a famous person, they got to understand I make mistakes. I mean, I'm not perfect. So that's just how it's going to be. That's why I don't think I'll be a good famous person, because I make mistakes. I goof. I'm silly. I like to joke. I like to make jokes about food. So, and what's even worse about it, sometimes the people will make fun of you when bad things happen to you because you're in the limelight. Sometimes when bad things happen to you, people don't give you your privacy. That's why when when famous people pass away, they had to always say, we ask for our privacy during this most difficult time. Because some people just don't want to give you your space. They love your project. They loved your book. They love your sitcom. They love your TV show. But then they fail to realize that you have a life after that or beyond that, and some famous people want to keep that private. And you don't want to talk about every single detail of your private life, and that's why they had to say that. No. I already said people like to put you on the pedestal. And oh yeah, another thing about mistakes, I'm just gonna say personally, do what you can to avoid borrowing things from people. Borrowing, because I'm pretty sure if I were to become famous, she borrowed this from me and forgot to give it back. And the first thing I'm gonna say is that's been over 10 years ago in some cases. $10. I borrowed some popsicle from you from the grade school playground and you're holding it against me. Try not to borrow money from people. Try not to borrow instruments from people. In fact, try not to borrow anything. If you can't pay for it by yourself, just avoid. Because sometimes people will, yeah, she did this, she did that. Sometimes people will come from your past and try to sabotage you when they see you doing well. So, if you can, avoid borrowing things. Like I said, some people make you try to. That didn't even come out right. Some people try to make you a role model when you don't want to be. Would they call you a role model if you weren't famous? Probably not. People don't respect your privacy and space, like I said before. You could be unfairly blamed for things, and people will draw conclusions before getting all the information. We've seen this happen on multiple occasions where they say that this celebrity did something and they get all this flack and you're a bad person, you're a bad person. But they found out later that that celebrity didn't do it. Oh, we're so sorry. So before you draw conclusions, do your research. Did this person really do it? Or is somebody trying to get some money? Is somebody trying to get some attention? Because, again, I've seen this happen to many of famous people. You get unfairly blamed for things that you have no control over. It really is guilty before proven innocent. They say guilty. Let's see, yeah. Did I word that right? Yeah. I said guilty before proven innocent. They say innocent before proven guilty, but I've seen way too many times where they accuse you of doing something and they assume you did it. So sometimes you don't get a second chance. People love reading negative stuff. Negativity thrives, and it's too bad. They don't even consider your feelings, and they don't care. They'll read negative stuff on you, and assume that it's correct and blow shit out of proportion and make up stories on you to get sales. It sucks. And the normal mistakes that you and I can make because we're not famous, famous person make those mistakes, they blow it way out of proportion. And some people will even do it at the detriment of your own life. They don't care. They just want to sell. They just want attention. They just want views. And it sucks. They are quick to drag you but slow to praise you. And some celebrities, if you run into them in LA, and the rare chance you do, they might be just having a bad day and they don't want to take no photos. They don't want to take selfies. Now, me personally, if I were a famous person, it's just a small price to pay. You could come to me in a restaurant and say, hey, take a few selfies. I'll go on about my business. I personally wouldn't mind it. Now, of course, during pandemics, like right now, I'm avoiding everybody. Like, I haven't hung out with any friends lately, especially when I go to LA County for auditions. The COVID numbers are high. So, whenever there's a pandemic, I'm not going to hang around a lot of people. But during non pandemic times, if I'm ever famous and if you see me out in public, come say hello. I would be glad to take a picture with you. And if the relationship ends up being a great friendship, I would love to go out and eat with you at a good pizza place or a good donut place. But getting back on the subject, sometimes if a celebrity says, no, I don't want to take a picture of you, or a picture of you or with you or whatever, they might try to write up something about this celebrity talking about they're a bad person, which they're not. They were maybe having an off day. Maybe they just didn't want to be bothered. Maybe they have something going on and don't want to tell you. And they try to write up something bad about that person, and it's not true. Because I feel like Hollywood is like a big old high school, like I told you in the last video. You got the cliques, the jocks, the nerds, the outcasts, the popular crowd, the A-list. People do treat you like your shit don't stink. That's why some celebrities get the big head. And like I said before, I'm used to people talking shit behind my back and tearing me down. That would not surprise me if I were to become famous. I've dealt with that my whole life, people talking shit. So it wouldn't surprise me if an old person I went to school with or a family member go to a local news, well, she did this and she did that. Hope people would be smart enough to see right through it and say, that's just a hater who's trying to get her or his 15 minutes. And I hope people will go about their business. But some people just want to hear it because they want to hear something bad about you. And the sad fact is, some people hate to see you do well. So they'll try to stomp you down any opportunity they can. Let's see. And I think I'm going to go ahead and, because like I said, I'm at the end of my notes. And like I said, whatever I didn't get to, I'll definitely post a little link or two or three below. And famous or not, I suggest everybody get you a lawyer. If you are a successful person, I don't care if you become famous, you become worldwide, or you don't. Get you legal counsel, get you a lawyer. Get to know people before you need them, because unfortunately, like I said before, people hate to see you do well. And when they see you making a little money, see you living a high life, they be throwing these frivolous lawsuits talking about, I want money for damages. I'm like, damages for what? So people do, in some instances, start to get petty and start to come at your ass. So get you a lawyer. I think I hit everything. If not, screw it. I hit it in this article that I wrote on Medium called I Have Very Little Interest in Being a Celebrity. I will post it below because I'm trying to get out of a habit of my videos cutting off. And I got a lot of time left. Let's see. I don't know if y'all can see that. I have very little interest in meeting a celebrity, so I will post that link below. So, I would like to hear your thoughts. Have you been famous, semi-famous, know famous people, have friends who you think could be famous in the future? What do you think? Would you ever want to be famous? Let me know what you think, because right now I'm not really interested in fame. Like I said, I'll ride the wave if it comes to me, but I'm good, homie. And alrighty, I will see you guys later. Bye.